So it's extremely rare for me to feel so excited about a game, to think about it constantly. And I've got to tell you that when I finished Foregone, not only did I love every single second of it, but I wanted to keep jumping back in and playing more. Sometimes it's hard to put your finger exactly on why you love a game so much, but let me try to tell you exactly why I believe you should play this game and give it all of the money and attention it deserves. Let's dive in and take a closer look.
Shall we begin?
Quickly, please sub, like, and comment and hit that bell for future notifications. Alright, welcome to an extremely impressive roguelike 2D action platformer with some of the smoothest movements, enjoyable attacks, skills, and upgrades in an absolutely gorgeous world. Foregone introduces us to a devastated city named Calagan and introduces us as an arbiter, a skilled warrior with super abilities and multiple ways to eliminate these crazy hordes of enemies. Foregone offers us the ability to choose our own preferred playstyle. You can easily be more aggressive and up close and personal, but you can also choose weapons and abilities with more ranged choices if that's what you like to play. I have around 12 hours in between the main story mode and story mode plus. I think it'll probably take you around 9 to 10 hours to finish the main story. The entire time I was learning the mechanics, upgrade trees, and weapon upgrades, and it was a completely fluid progression. The main story may not be as in-depth as, say, of some other titles, but there is still a really good story there, and it progresses properly throughout the entire experience. The war-torn levels help to bring in that feeling, that vibe, really great art style with it. Enemy variation completely changes throughout the entire game as well, and even more importantly, the game itself and the boss fights are extremely rewarding and enjoyable. I love that this feels like a roguelite, Metrovania in some sense. But when you die, you don't start completely over. You get to continue with your progression. Although you're going to lose some resources like money and essence, you're also going to be walking around and finding hidden chambers and skills that are going to help your character progress and improve based on powers and abilities. I love that they also chose to add some of these side missions. There's these quick time-based levels that you're going to have to unlock, and some are they're all kind of speed tests, whether it's a race with jumping puzzles, that sort of thing, or it's going to be kill X amount of enemies in a certain amount of time. At the end of these levels, you're going to get better gear, which is going to upgrade your character. But more importantly, at the very end of these is a vendor that's going to help you upgrade your armor and weapons. So what you're going to be able to do is a lot of the weapons throughout the game are going to have multiple different, stats connected to them. You can choose one. Let's say it has 4 stats. You can choose one of those 4 stats, and then you are able to re-roll that to possibly go along with your playstyle. So this actually kind of takes me more into everything that what I consider as an inexpensive game has to offer. Here is a simple skill tree, but it's a really well done skill tree. I enjoyed the progression of the skill tree along with the choices it makes me have to make, even if they are quite simple compared to some of those really crazy in-depth skill trees you see with other games. You're going to be able to upgrade your abilities with a resource called Essence, and you'll be able to upgrade your weapons and armor with the coins and the money. There's so much packed into this really small package that Big Blue Bubble, that's the indie game developer here, it really makes you start on normal mode, and I'm glad they do that. But as you beat the game, it opens up story mode plus, which I mentioned earlier. And the game is so smooth that you're going to want to jump back into that story mode plus. The enemies are extremely more difficult. The amount of weapons and armor you're going to get is just thrown at you. There's loot coming at you at all levels, on all sides, and they're all going to have different stats. The weapons and armor that you specialized in the regular story mode is going to just be wiped out because you're going to be getting much better things. The best part about it is you get to keep all of your progression from the regular story into story mode plus. So you may already have a skill upgraded completely. You can now try something different, but still keep all of your health and your armor and all that sort of thing. I've also heard that speedrunners are starting to get a hold of this game, and it's not my style, but I can definitely see that being a real positive and again replayability on this game. So many people are going to compare this to Dead Cells and Celeste and that style of game. Of course, it fits that general genre, right? But more importantly for me, did I enjoy it? What was this game really about? And basically, I felt like a little kid the entire way through. I don't know if it's just that I haven't been playing enough of these platform roguelite games, but man, did I enjoy every second of it. Not once did I get frustrated with this game. Sure, I died a few times, but it was really just learning the attacks and the moves, specifically when it really came to bosses and not making pretty much just stupid mistakes, right? So when I died, I learned from it. And I think most times when I played a boss, I think I beat them within a couple of tries. Only once did I die, maybe 4 times, but I nailed down the moves and I figured it out. And it was, again, so rewarding. And I use that a lot because it's important. The story there, again, it might be shorter than some other ones, but it's compelling, and I don't want to give too much away. You'll see that as it progresses in this, 9 or 10 hour game. The voice, there's some small voice acting, and it's really well done. There are also these small journals that you're going to find that help to develop that story, which I think are very important. So, search, do what you need to do. I thought both again were really well done in the way it progressed the game along in a proper fashion, speed, again, progression in general, both with your character and the development of the abilities and your skills and your armor. All of that is there, and it was done fluidly. The bosses are all unique with their own unique moves. You're going to have to learn those. And again, some are going to be easier than others. The enemies, there are very good variation of enemies within this game. And yes, throughout the levels, you're going to see them as reskinned, but they have different abilities throughout each level. So yes, maybe the art style, they didn't want to make 100 different enemies. Maybe they have 20 and those 20 evolve, but again, they change with your game, with the difficulty. Their skills improve, their attacks are different, their weapons are different. So they did it well. At the end of the day, I know I could talk the ins and the outs of this game. I could talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, but this is a review. So let's hammer this down. Let's take a look at the positives and negatives. You guys know the drill. Positives first, and for me, there are a ton. The music is so good. The art style is gorgeous. The gameplay is smooth, fast, rewarding. Your attacks, your movements, everything about it is just so much fun to play. The skill tree, again, although maybe limited compared to some other games with really massive skill trees, I thought the simplified one was extremely well done, and you could feel the upgrades, you could feel the changes. The weapons and armor I thought were really, really fun. You're going to see some fun weapons that you're going to laugh at, and the armor and the gear is there. What's great about that is they all have their own unique perks, which are going to really change your game style. So you need to remember to upgrade them and change them and find that layout and maybe that common level to make the most out of your playstyle. Enemies and bosses are extremely well done. Again, the art style I think on the enemies is great, and yes, they progress throughout the game. Their attacks are unique, their designs are well done. And for a game like this, with it being again rather affordable, but a side scroller, this type of genre, what's the replayability like? And I can tell you right now, I truly believe this has extremely high replayability. You're going to want to keep playing this. You're going to want to jump into story plus mode. You're going to want to probably do some speed runs. You're going to want to do those challenges. And again, you can keep going and keep going. And finally, you guys know my drill. At the end of the day, tell me what I felt when I shut the game off. And I had an absolute blast finishing this game. My first playthrough, I've had fun jumping into the new Game Story Plus mode on a higher difficulty. And it's just, again, I don't know what it is. It's all there. Are there any negatives? Realistically, I mean, I'm going to say for the most part, there aren't many. I could say maybe a better hand holding when it comes to, introducing the weapon reforging, right? That's the only spot I could really say because it walks you through your skill sets and your trees and your weapons and your armor. But beating those side quest missions and explaining that, and maybe I just missed it because again, I was so excited about just playing the game. Maybe I just ignored that vendor and didn't read through it properly. But I had to have somebody tell me more about that reforging, and I went, "Oh!" and a light bulb went off. So for me, that's maybe it. The only other thing I guess people might say, again, the story is interesting, it's engaging, you're going to like the progression of the story, Could it have a little bit more in-depth content? Could you find some more journals? Could that be there? Of course, it could be, but I think that they, again, followed along with what their goals were and how the story moves properly, that they don't really need it. So yeah, right, guys? I love this game. I love this game. So final score. And it's hard to give something a 10 out of 10. I think it's really rare to do something like that. And I don't find too many gems that are like that. And because I could think of maybe these small things, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I feel like some people are going to say maybe it's too short. Again, maybe some people are going to say the story's not as in depth as they want it. But again, I didn't have any issues. I had no bugs, no crashes, no controller throwing moments. I loved every second of this game. I hope you do as well. I hope there's more. Devs, give me some DLCs, please. But man, guys, look, that's it. There you have it. A fast-paced review, I hope, for a fast-paced game. Like if you enjoyed, hit that sub button and bell for future content, and let me know your thoughts on Foregone and upcoming indie games to dive into. And I will see you in the next video.